Joining us now, Chief Washington Correspondent at ABC News, there's the side of my head, and co-anchor of This Week on ABC, Jonathan Karl. His new book is called Retribution, Donald Trump and the Campaign That Changed America. This is book number 4 in this series.
Yeah.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
How are you? I mean, you've been living pretty deeply within this.
Yeah, I mean, I was with you when this journey started, and you were covering the campaign in 2015, 2016.
And look where I got myself out to New York in a way.
You plotted an exodus. It's in some ways it's been a blur. I just realized, I think as you did in those days, is I wanted to document what was happening for history, and that got more urgent as I saw people trying to rewrite and whitewash the history that we're living through.
So you've really seen the evolution. And I hate to say evolution because Donald Trump is very much who he is and is the way he's always been. But now he's free to be himself more than he was in 2016, that first administration, without having the, what they called the adults in the room. So when we're talking about political retribution, I wonder what he really wants. We see the flurry of subpoenas for all these perceived political enemies. They include, former CIA Director John Brennan. They include Chris Krebs. Anybody who he feels didn't do him right, said mean things about him or contradicted him. Does he want to see them investigated, or does he want to see them charged and put in jail?
I think he wants to go all the way. I mean, I think that he wants to turn their lives upside down. And there are layers of enemies here. I mean, they are the people who literally investigated him. There are the people who prosecuted him. There are the people that were his political enemies. But I think that really high on the list are fellow Republicans who he feels did not stand by him or betrayed him. I think those are at the top of his list. I think that's why, James Comey was a top target. Why he's clearly very interested in what's happening to John Bolton. Steve Bannon the other day suggested that Bill Barr should go to prison. I mean, I don't think there's really any limit to
What did Bill Barr do?
Well, Bill Barr, according to Steve Bannon, not only failed to investigate what happened in 2020, but in the allegation is he didn't tell the truth. He said
it was nonsense.
Bill Barr very definitively came out and said there was no substantial election fraud. And that is at the core of what Bannon thinks he should be investigated for.
Is Steve Bannon still in the president's ear? Is that who he's listening to on this? Is it Laura Loomer? Is it somebody inside the White House?
Trump is listening to Trump. I mean, at any one moment, any of those people can channel where Trump is and to get him, to act more aggressively. I did detail a situation with Bannon where Bannon was on the phone with Trump and his entire national security team in the days before he met with Zelensky in the Oval Office in February with that, great confrontation. And Bannon was pushing him in that direction, but it was Trump that got Bannon on the phone because he knew what Bannon was going to say. So I don't think you can say that Trump is being steered on this. This is the direction that he wants to go, that he is driving.
He learned a lesson from the cabinet that he picked the first time around, and the cabinet that he picked this time around is much different. There are people who don't disagree with him, generally speaking. Are these folks that are true believers, or are they the kind of people that know not to cross him and so know what to say?
It's a mix of both, and the contrast is so dramatic. I mean, when he came in the first time, he felt that he needed expertise, and he wanted the credentials, almost like trophies on the wall in his cabinet. You have 2 4-star Marine generals. You have the CEO of ExxonMobil. You have a former senator and federal judge as the attorney general. He had people that really brought credentials and power. And this time around, that stuff's irrelevant because, by the way, the people that were most well-credentialed and had the biggest reputations in that first term are the people that he's most angry at. I mean, that's John Kelly, it's Mattis, it's Tillerson, it's Jeff Sessions, it's Bill Barr. He doesn't want those people anymore. Now, what matters, the key to success in Trump land is being supremely loyal to Donald Trump.
He watches a lot of television, so he's getting some sense of what might be happening in the world, but he obviously watches select television. I wonder how rooted in reality he is right now concerning how he's doing politically. And I want to play something that he said to Laura Ingraham on Fox News. about the economy, and then ask you a question on the other side.
More than anything else, it's a con job by the Democrats. They're saying they just have to say, they put out something, say today costs are up. They feed it to the anchors of ABC, CBS, and NBC, and a lot of other, and CNN, and et cetera.
Why are people saying they're anxious about the economy? Why are they saying that?
I don't know that they are saying. I think polls are fake. We have the greatest economy we've ever had.
So it's kind of Biden-esque in the sense that, remember the people were not feeling good about the economy, but Biden said, what are you talking about? Things are great.
Who are you going to believe, your own situation or what the statistics tell you?
Yeah, but the statistics aren't even on his side at this point. So is he living in reality?
He actually gets a lot of external inputs. First of all, he does watch a hell of a lot of television.
Yeah.
Television
is it just Fox?
I mean, no. Maybe he's watching now. He watches MSNBC, absolutely. He watches CNN. He watches mostly Fox, but he gets lots of inputs, and he's on the phone constantly. And he's on the phone sometimes to fellow reporters, sometimes to corporate CEOs, people that are telling him, and he asks questions. When you call him, he asks questions, so he gets the inputs. So I don't think that he's divorced, that he's walled off the reality. I think that he believes that he can create a reality with his own words. He's always believed that.
He can dictate it.
He's always believed that, even in his days as a developer. I mean, Trump Tower was the biggest, greatest building in all of, Midtown Manhattan. I mean, it wasn't actually the biggest, but he talked about it as if it was, and it was a great building. But, he creates the reality.
On the shutdown, he seemed to understand that the Republicans were losing the shutdown after seeing what happened in the elections last Tuesday. It's hard to predict this, but I was wondering if the Democrats held out, if Donald Trump might have folded on the ACA subsidies, if it might have gotten loud enough for him among constituents who are angry, voters who are angry, or MTG or somebody on those extensions, whether he would say, we got to do something on this and force the Republicans to negotiate with Democrats. Is that
There were moments where it seemed like that, but then the pain of the shutdown didn't seem to be something that he was acknowledging at all. I mean, the extreme lengths that they went to fight the effort to provide SNAP benefits for people.
I know, telling states they can't fund them.
I mean, really going beyond. So I think that the calculation, not just on the 8 Democrats that voted to end the shutdown, but among those that were actually happy that they did privately, was that no amount of pain was going to make a difference.
Well, he said he wanted to inflict pain on Democrats. Does the White House believe that the people who are using these benefits, even if they are situated in deep red states, and we can show you the maps that show that most of these people are in deep red states, either for the extension on the subsidies or for the SNAP benefits, does he believe that those are Democrats in those red states?
He has suggested that. I think that they know that that's not all that's there. But what they were totally confident in was that, despite what the polls were showing, was that it was Democrats, it was their fault that the government shut down, it was Democrats that didn't vote to fund the government. Therefore, the pain could be blamed ultimately on Democrats. The polls actually showed, people look and they see Republicans are in charge, and more people were blaming Republicans, but it was pretty even. But they were confident that ultimately it was Democrats that were going to pay the political price. I think that Trump's comment about Republicans paying the price was really aimed at Republicans who refused to go along with doing away with the filibuster.
Yeah, not him. Those Republicans.
Yeah.
You've written 4 books now, as we said at the top. And I wrote a book on the campaign. Yes. And in the first few pages, thank you, I mused whether I could envision Donald Trump ever leaving the White House, ever willingly going.
Yeah.
And then we saw that kind of come to life in 2020, although he did eventually leave. He's got Trump hats that say 2028. He's building a ballroom that's not going to be done till the end of this term. What do you think is going to happen in 2028?
I asked John Kelly a question shortly after he left as chief of staff. So Trump's still in office, first term. What happens if he doesn't leave? And Kelly just matter-of-factly said, oh, no, he'll leave. And if he doesn't, he could chain himself to the Resolute desk, and there will be people that come in and cut the chains. We're in a different place now. I don't think he's going to try to run again for a third term. I think he knows as well as everybody else that the 22nd Amendment to the Constitution makes that impossible. But it is hard to imagine him voluntarily leaving the spotlight, leaving all that he has, and handing the baton to somebody else, maybe even especially a fellow Republican. So I don't know how it happens. But he's not like planning a third campaign right now.
So from
or
book
a fourth campaign, I guess it would be. But,
from book 1 to book 4 to Retribution, what is the one lesson that you have taken away from covering and following Donald Trump?
It's the evolution that he has come to a place where he is changing America in a way that he never did in the first term, and the impact of Donald Trump didn't really last from the first term. It was rather ephemeral. This time, he is changing the country in profound ways that will live long after he is gone.
It's in our bloodstream now. All right, Jonathan Karl, thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you. It's great to be here.
I want you to write another book because it gives me another opportunity to have you on.
It's going to be a little while.
Some cross-network interviewing. Good to see you. Thanks so much.